Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please drop that like and subscribe. It's been a great weekend. Enjoy, go to the beach, have some fun. But today I will address two things. Number one, obviously, is Trump's speech at the conference. And number two is my retirement plan, as people asked me about it throughout the week. And I did promise today was going to be the day. Now, regarding the Trump's Bitcoin conference speech, a lot of it is related to the campaign that he's handling. A lot of talking points around other subjects, which is normal. I mean, he's not. You cannot expect him to be, speaking for 1 hour purely on crypto. I think he addressed it quite a bit. I think he touched upon details very important that he doesn't need to touch, which tells me that by him saying what he's saying, he's actually telling the truth. I would much rather have him not opening up and talking about CBDCs. The reason for it is, look, he's already against wars, and now he's against a central bank that is asking for, a Pennsylvania accident number 2. If you go back in history, and if you see presidents who dare to talk about the central banks and be against war at the same time, they don't end up in a very good place. So I would hope that he would hide that phase. Obviously, I'm in favor of it, that CBDCs do not is the key word, come along. However, sometimes you need to be a bit smart, in my humble opinion, about disclosing your goals too much, unless he's really very naive and he thinks that all those assassinations throughout history were all pure coincidences. It's very possible that he's that naive. He's not from the political world, not from this kind of world, and I seriously doubt that he is an obsessive researcher like I am. So let's leave it at that. In any case, I would like to, people were expecting, Bitcoin's going to jump to 100K, to 90K, to 95K. Look, what I said was Bitcoin was going down to 52K, 53K. We stopped at 52.9. All of a sudden, there's this huge interest of BlackRock, and they start buying Bitcoin, not 20 million or 40 million. They start to buy 100 million, 150 million, 200 million, 300 million, 250 million. All of this, right? And all of a sudden, a rumor comes out that Trump will add Bitcoin to the US strategic reserve. So what people need to understand is that as soon as BlackRock was buying so heavily, most of it was priced in. Now, obviously, these are great news in the sense that the US government owns about 200,000 Bitcoin, which is give or take $15 billion. And obviously, if these will not be sold on the market, that's great, particularly if you can add to it on the market. If you can add to those reserves, that's also great. Although at the moment he only disclosed that he would not sell one Bitcoin and he would keep the ones that the government already has as part of strategic reserves. In any case, what is positive of this is 2 of the 3 presidential candidates, although, to be honest, RFK has no chance, but still, he bears an important name, and there's a reason why he's independent, because the Democrats did everything they could to ensure that he couldn't run on a fair basis. You see, this is always the part that strikes me as very interesting. So Trump is accused of being a threat to democracy. However, there's a party who has a nominee which received 0 votes, which is the Democrats. Which party has weaponized the legal system against its political opponents, as it's done in all dictatorships, and particularly in the fascist regimes that we had in the 20th century? Was Trump? Did Trump try to put Hillary Clinton in jail? No. The Democrats did. So it seems to me, who tries to cancel people? Who tries to destroy people? Who tries to prevent people from being heard? Who was almost assassinated? You see, they're all on the same side. They're all on the Democratic side. And if somehow you don't agree with it, you become a sort of victim of all these isms, right? And I think you can figure out which words there are because we've heard them ad nauseum. But it's just so funny that these things happen. But in any case, obviously having presidential candidates talking so positively about Bitcoin is great. Once again, as I've mentioned before, it's the time that everybody thinks Bitcoin is a scam that is the best time to buy. Now, even if Bitcoin goes to, let's say, 600,000, you're talking about a 10x. You have a lot of 10x's in crypto nowadays. So Bitcoin is great, let's say, if you are a multimillionaire. So if you deploy, I don't know, $20 million, I think you will be able to make, 60, 80 million, which for most people is more than enough. Probably if I would have $20 million, I wouldn't be venturing myself in such a risk curve, chasing those 100x's and 500x's. I could be, or 50 or 75x's, I would be just fine with a 10x, 8x, 6x. You know the drill. In any case, he said things that he didn't need to say. He could have said, you're going to have a friendly crypto president, and we're going to take the goons out of you. He already said that. We're going to have a more friendly SEC towards you. That part is all true. I mean, forget about crypto. Trump would always fire Gary Gensler because he's extremely close to Hillary Clinton. So he would feel like he would have another guy that he would need to be concerned about on a very important role. But obviously, if you can say that in the middle of the crypto space, that's great. Now, there are people who are not, I don't think, the media is not appreciating how big enough this topic is. You see, I imagine myself being in the US, and I've seen that the Democrats are anything but in favor of crypto. Now, they are positioning themselves as being in favor now because they've seen the potential that there is. When they figure out that 50 million Americans own crypto, all of a sudden, they are all very crypto friendly. But we all know that they've been trying to fight crypto, particularly the goons like Elizabeth Warren and likes, above anything else. And is it because of criminals? Is it because of tax evasion or money laundering? No. Bitcoin and crypto represent freedom, represents a better form of money, which comes from the people and not the government. Now, you see, the Republican stance is also not innocent. It's a bit like, okay, this industry seems to be real. This industry seems to be here to stay. How can we make sure that it stays in America so we can make a lot of money from it, collecting fees and the likes? So this is the Republican stance. The Democrats is much different. This seems to challenge our control. Don't you know that I'm the biggest, the smartest person on the planet? My name is Elizabeth Warren. I need to control everything because if I control everything, the world will be so great because I'm so smart and everybody else is so dumb. This is the mentality of these people. Okay? So Bitcoin and crypto represents loss of control, which is unacceptable. So particularly with self-custody. So this is what they attack. And Trump has talked about protecting our self-custody, which is very important, and seems to me that he thinks about it a bit beyond the simple, trying to get the crypto vote. Because for a lot of people, particularly people who have a lot of money in crypto, or people who basically just deposited all their hopes in crypto, they may hate Donald Trump, but now they have an extremely vested interest to vote for him. And people are not appreciating this because they don't understand how crazy, how lunatics, and how dedicated and focused crypto people like myself really are. And that's an important point, and I think it will resonate with a lot of people. Now, let's say 50 million Americans own crypto. Do you think 50 million people do even know what self-custody is? I would argue maybe 100,000 people care about self-custody. All the others are these lunatics that own crypto. Not lunatics, sorry. Sorry. They're just inexperienced, okay? That own their crypto in the centralized exchanges. These are the people that get annihilated with the FTXs and BlockFis and Celsius of the world. And they will always prefer the convenience store to the doing crypto the right way with self-custody, cold storage, separate wallets, etc., etc. But the fact that he's talking about he didn't need to talk about self-custody. He would already have the crypto vote just by being as friendly as he is. In any case, I think it was a landmark in the industry. Peter Schiff obviously is going completely crazy. It was good that Trump said that the Bitcoin's almost taking silver's market cap, and it's true. It's not that far away. And crypto, last time I checked, was sitting comfortably around 68,000. We are actually just repeating the 2016 fractal. If we continue to repeat it, then mid-August we should start some fireworks on the altcoins as well. Is that guaranteed? Of course not. In any case, so far we are just repeating 2016. Then, my point being, and this will basically carry me now to the retirement plan, is, am I really certain that Trump will do what he promised? Of course not. I don't know if he's going to do it or not. I think he will, and I think it will be very obvious, and the crypto people are extremely taxing if you don't do what you promised. But I do believe he's going to do it. Now, will he do it if he wins the election? He is going to get in office in January. I think he is more concerned about solving some conflicts and some urgent things around the border rather than crypto. Then I would think this crypto stuff would most likely follow around Q2, Q3 2025, which would be a very good top signal, particularly if they start buying crypto or buying Bitcoin going forward. Particularly if the price of Bitcoin is higher, there may be the temptation. So let's say if the Bitcoin price is 150K, there may be the temptation to buy it at that price with the fear that it's going to go to 1 million and then it's going to be very expensive, blah, blah, blah. Fear of missing out applies to everyone, not just to you and me, but also to the governments and institutions. In any case, let's assume it doesn't. You see, my philosophy is I may prefer a certain candidate, but there's no way I'm going to put myself in their decision making going forward. And with that, I've studied, okay, let's assume that in 2025 I do achieve my goals and I can retire, and I will retire if that happens, and I've been visualizing it, feeling it, manifesting it, whatever you want to call it. Let's say that it happens. And now what? Now it becomes the very hard part. You see, the hard part is how can I not only maintain my wealth, but grow it and eventually leave it to my future generations. That's my goal. For those of you, I've already disclosed this in the past, but look, ever since I disclosed that information, I think my subscribers tripled. So, most people have no clue what are my plans. And these are my plans. These are not your plans. This is not financial advice for you. This is not tax advice to you. This is not relocation advice, whatever you want to call it. But one thing that so this is my plan. Now, full disclosure, I'm not an American citizen. I'm not a former American citizen. And I do know that there's some way that taxation follows you around the world in America. I don't know the details of it. Based on where I'm from, none of that happens. Once you leave the country, you become fiscal resident of another place. That's it. That's the end of it. And so I've studied all the options. And believe me, it took me quite some time. And the best option that I've seen is the Cayman Islands. You see, I was always looking for a territory because, in case you guys don't know, many countries have overseas territories. And what that means is they have free protection from the government. However, they pay nothing for it, which is very weird. Why do they have free protection? Very good question. I think you guys can guess why. But notice places like, in the case of Great Britain, the Cayman Islands, the British Virgin Islands. In the case of France, you have the French Guinea. You have, in the case of the Netherlands, you have the Dutch Antilles. In the case of the US, you have Puerto Rico. You have Bahamas. You have US Virgin Islands. Notice something. The Democrats and Republicans don't agree about anything, but they never discuss the territories. The Conservatives and the Labour Party in the UK don't agree about anything, but they never talk about the territories. No party in France agrees with each other, but they never talk about the territories. Now, that should tell you everything you need to know. Now, the reason why I would pick the Cayman Islands is because it's the most developed island of the Caribbean. It's the least impacted by hurricanes. It's the one with the highest development index, meaning actually its level of development is slightly higher than the UK. You have English law-based documentation. You have a currency pegged to the dollar. You have, the education, lawyers, doctors. They're all a bit higher level than the UK. It is the island with the lowest criminality and, most importantly, 0% tax across everything, including VAT in Europe or global sales tax in the US. Meaning all taxes are zero and they will be forever zero, as it's in their constitution. The only thing that you need is about $20,000 per person, and you get a 25-year temporary permit, and you need to buy real estate worth about $1.1 million and have deposited in the Cayman Islands $500,000 at all times to show that you can survive without without becoming homeless or anything like that. Now, the great advantage of this island, not only the fact that it has no winter as well, I mean, winters are 25 degrees Celsius and the summer are 30 degrees Celsius. Water temperature is around 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, and up to 29 degrees Celsius as well. English is the main language. After 6 years, you get a British passport. After 5 years, you get a Cayman Islands passport. After 6 years, you get a British passport. So let's say, if you're from Brazil, from Latin America, whatever, having a British passport can be very important for Commonwealth regions, meaning Australia, Canada, New Zealand. You never know which area of the globe is going to be better. So if you can keep and maintain more than one passport, in my view, is beneficial. And so basically the fact, all these advantages, no tax, no nothing. And then here is the key. You only need to be there up to 1 month per year. That's it. No 6 months, no nothing. You see, problem of certain places in Europe like Gibraltar, Monaco, Andorra is that you need to be there 6 months and 1 day per year. I mean, what a boring place to be 6 months and 6 months and 1 day per year. In the Cayman Islands, you only need to be there 1 month. And actually, if you pay the $100K and become a permanent resident, you actually only need to be there 1 day per year. That's it. Then you can leave whatever else you want on the planet, as long as you don't, overstay too much in order to become automatically a fiscal resident of that region. So, for example, if you move to, let's say, the Netherlands, and you stay there for 6 months and 1 day, for example, then all of a sudden you become a Dutch fiscal resident. This happens in any country of Europe, of the European Union, by the way. And so that's my plan. Cayman Islands, those are the reasons why I like it. No more winter, place to escape. Things go crazy. Some places else in the world, this has proven to be untouchable territories, as I suspect a lot of important people have their money there. Once again, 0% tax forever. The investment is not that big. $1.2 million real estate, $500K deposit, could be much worse. And you can live other places of the planet as you want. You get your passport after a few years, and there's always ways to renew that 25-year temporary permit. But 25 years, you have a lot of time to plan and to adjust. And of course, it doesn't have a banana republic currency. It has a currency which is pegged to not a great currency, but the best we have, which is the dollar. So in that case, seems to me the best option. I've studied all others. Nobody has ever came up to me with a better one. Nobody has ever been able to debate with me on that one. But guys, if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. And with that, guys, thank you very much for your support. I'll catch you in the next one. Sorry a little bit for the coughing. And don't forget, drop that like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.